Today I'm going to be taking this piece of sapphire rough, these diamonds, and this pile of gold, and we're going to be working towards making a $10,000 one-of-a-kind custom ring. Hey, what's going on, guys? Got an exciting one today. This is a cornflower blue unheat treated Madagascar sapphire. And this is a pretty special gemstone, and I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to cut it. So I'm gonna get this preformed in. I'm gonna get this on the dop stick, and we're gonna get into this. And this is gonna be a fun one. So I've studied this for some time now, and I was just looking at what is the way to best go about cutting this piece to maximize the size of the finished gem. So I spent a good little while just making sure this is right where I want it to sit. I'm going to be using what I find to be the strongest bonding agent. Now my goal is to just remove that little inclusion right there. So I'm going to bring this in a little more. See that little dark patch on the corner, the right hand side there. Alright, so I just finished the girdle on this, which is the area around the widest part of the stone. Now, this is actually a commissioned piece for an engagement ring, and when I did the consultation, the idea was a nice cornflower blue fantasy cut sapphire between 5 to 6 millimeters. And now that we got the girdle shaped in, we can take a look, and we are sitting at 5.3. So that's pretty good. This ended up being the perfect candidate for what we're aiming for. I'm really happy with how this is going so far. Now, I just cut the perimeter of this with my 1200 sintered. And basically from that, I'm going to hop to an 8K, which is a copper lap, and then it will be a 50,000 diamond bat lap for my polish on this. Now this is going to be a fantasy cut, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the pavilion right now. I'm going to hop over to the fantasy machine. We're going to come back to the flat lap to do the final polish. Then I'm going to do my dop transfer. We're going to cut the crown, and it's just going to be a standard crown. Nothing crazy about it. It's just going to be flat facets. This copper lap was recently charged. I made it an 8K lap, which is 8,000 grit. And basically it's just some oil with diamond powder, and it works its way into the copper by running synthetic corundum, which is a lab-made ruby, just because it's inexpensive comparatively. And it's a 9 on the Mohs hardness, so it's strong enough to kind of embed the diamonds into this metal here. So I'm going to run at a slow speed, and get started on this now. I made sure to clean all my laps. This is a brand new charged lap for this specific gem. So yeah, that's running at a nice low speed. And we'll see how this looks in a couple minutes. Okay, so basically everything's set up on this now. I just got to get the angles I'm going to be doing here. sure it's going to be difficult to see, but I'm trying to start with the most minute little slit just to make sure that we're completely on track here. Alright, so I got the first 4 slits in, and I've actually made a cross. Now what I'm going to go is I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut across in the in-between facets and actually make this an 8-sided cut. Just do a little bit of a cut, take a look. Make a micro adjustment. Back to it here. Okay, so that took a little while, but we have successfully cut in the pattern with the 1200 sintered V-wheel, and I'm going to be moving on to the pre-polish now. Now I could have used a more aggressive wheel. I wanted to take my time with the 1200 grit. It's better just to go slow, make a nice smooth cut, and then move forward, as opposed to using something aggressive. Okay, so I just did the pre-polish and the polish on the V-slits, and I'm not going to actually reveal how I'm doing that. I have a little bit of a secret way of pre-polishing and polishing after I use the V-wheel and what steps I go to after. And it varies even more so when using sapphire. There's more steps involved to get this finished. I'm really happy with how the polish looks on it, and I'm going to throw this back in the flat lap machine and we're going to get back to the polish. Now this is the most time that I've ever invested into a gemstone, and I made sure that I was meticulous on every single step to ensure the nicest finish that I could produce. And it was 100% worth it. So this main facet I'm cutting in right now, this is actually what's going to establish the girdle's width, which is that little line that's going to actually clip into the prong for the setting. So I'm just establishing that now. I'm just going to take it down a little more. So I don't do this technique often. I have this zeroed out right now. And basically, if you don't go really slow, this can kick up. Something gets caught and you can dislodge your stone. Well, just when everything's going good, there's always got to be a problem that pops up. And it turns out there was actually a small little contaminant on the perimeter of this pre-polish lap, and it's actually made a little bit of a tick sound, and I knew right away that I probably scratched the sapphire. Now I've lifted it up, there is a bit of a scratch there, and it's not very big, but it needs to be fixed. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have to recut the whole crown, which sounds a little dramatic, but I'm going to need to change the depths of each row of facets because I'm changing the depth of one facet and I want everything to be uniform. So that's pretty crappy because this has been a long day at this, and I'm going to have to spend a bunch of time just to get this properly fixed. So I'm dropping down to a coarser grit again. We're going to drop back down to the 1200 sintered. Okay, we got the scratch out. That's really positive. Okay, things have been crazy on this. So I had something called orange peel develop on the one facet on index 96. So it's kind of crazy. I have recut the table now, or the crown, a third time. Didn't even film it. It was a super intense moment. I discovered the orange peel. Now the issue I'm running into is the girdle only has so much thickness. So as I cut the crown down towards the girdle, there's going to be a point where the girdle is not going to have enough thickness to click into the prong setting. And if that happens, I would have had to go back and recut the pavilion. That was super scary. Okay. I think everything's good to go now. I'm finally getting back to my pre-polish for a third time here. This has been a humbling experience. And we're going to see what happens now with this third attempt. Okay, so now we're at a point where we can't really afford any more issues to happen. Otherwise, I'm going to have to change the entire dimension of this stone. And the original request was 5 to 6 millimeters. I think we're at 5.3. So I'm just really hoping that nothing freak accidents anymore of this happens. Now for the orange peel to just start happening on a specific index at that part of the sapphire, I'm not 100% sure why that was. I cleaned the lap just in case that was the issue. It was only happening on the one facet, and it was basically just taking chunks out, like it was just chewing the sapphire right up. It was pretty insane, and I had to cut past that chewed up area. This part just requires patience. So I just went and picked these diamonds up. These are 3.5 millimeter VS princess cut diamonds. And they are going to complement this sapphire in an awesome way.